First of all, I want to read out from your own manifesto in 2020, Fianna Fáil's manifesto to the electorate, in order to sit where they're sitting now today. And all of you would have signed up to this. Ireland will fully maintain neutrality in the triple lock. Fianna Fáil reaffirms its commitment to the retention of the triple lock of the UN mandate of authorisation, government and Dáil approval prior to committing Defence Forces personnel on overseas services. And it goes on to finish, we will fully maintain neutrality on the triple lock mechanism. The programme for government that you then entered into, and I'm assuming with the insistence of yourselves and the Green Party, says overseas operations and international cooperation, the government will ensure that all overseas operations will be conducted in line with our position of military neutrality and subject to the triple lock of the United Nations, government and Dáil Éireann approval. And now you want to change that. I think you should talk to us a bit about the bill you're bringing before the Dáil soon, but I also think you need to explain to people what exactly is it that you want to do that you can't already do with our defence forces inside the triple lock? Do you want to operate outside the UN Charter? Because it would appear that that's exactly what you want to do when you talk about needing to free our foreign policy from a commitment that insists that the UN must pass a motion to allow us to do it. And you've said here before, and I know you're going to say the same thing again, that you're not going to be hamstrung by Russia or China or the UK, or even sometimes you might say, for that matter, the USA. But we need to know, and here's my direct question to you today, is if that's the case, where do you want to send Irish troops? Where that you can't send them under the direction of the UN Charter, where do you actually want to send them? And is this the case that you're falling in line with others across Europe who are already giving us worrying signs that, as was said, the war clouds are gathering? The Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk claimed that we're in a pre-war era. And Admiral Rob Bauer, the chair of NATO's military committee, said we are preparing for war with Russia. The French President Emmanuel Macron believes we should be sending troops into the Ukraine, that NATO should be sending troops. Can you please clarify for the Irish public, do you want the sons and daughters of Irish, mostly working class people, to be sent out to fight wars on behalf of the new colonial powers that are dominating the world now? Or what exactly do you need to lift the triple lock for? And don't tell me it's to pick up people who are stranded in Kabul or Somalia and can't get out, because that's not the case. Where has the UN ever stopped you, or stopped this country being able to rescue its own citizens?
I was 13 years of age, well 12 actually, when the referendum to join the European Union was passed overwhelmingly by the Irish people. And what's interesting about that debate, and every other debate about the European Union since then, and every other referendum, people from your side of the House predicted conscription, membership of NATO, NATO tanks on O'Connell Street. That has been a consistent line adopted. And I've heard it. So I didn't interrupt you, Deputy.
But you're telling lies.
I know I'm not.
Yes,
no,
you
I'm
are.
Not.
Deputy. You are.
Deputy.
There's no. We did not predict troops on the street of O'Connell Street.
You're going to be out of order.
We did not predict conscription. That is
Deputy
a lie.
Murphy, you're going to be out of order. Get the Taoiseach to respond.
The old trope of conscription, of joining a European army, has been in every referendum. Every referendum. And it's been a false. You just mentioned, was I going to send Irish troops out to fight in colonial wars? I
asked you, where do you want to send them? Where do you want to send them after you lift the triple lock?
I didn't interrupt now. I'm entitled through the Chair to argue and to the House to make the points I made and to answer the questions you raised. And my point is a very valid point. And I will not be browbeaten by you, Deputy. Just as you tried to browbeat me last year when I had a consultative forum, a basic act of democracy, participation in democracy. And all you tried everything to denigrate the Chair, you tried everything to stop it, to actually stop debate. Because you don't even think we have the right to discuss these issues.
You cancelled the Citizens'
We can only
Assembly.
discuss them on your terms, through the Chair. That's the only basis you think we can discuss issues like neutrality, issues like the triple lock and so on, like that. I believe in military neutrality, and we are military neutral. And the triple lock has nothing to do with military neutrality. No, but it has everything to do with the incapacity and the paralysis on the Security Council around peacekeeping missions. And we have a proud peacekeeping record in this country. And we're in UNIFIL and we're in Lebanon. But there are examples, Deputy, where we were not in a position. In 1999, a permanent member of the UN Security Council vetoed the renewal of the United Nations Preventative Deployment Force, and as the subsequent EU peace operation in the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia did not have a Security Council mandate, Ireland was also unable to participate in that mission. More recently, in 2015, the European Union established a security mission in the Mediterranean known as Operation Sophia. This mission did not have a UN mandate until 2016. Ireland could not consider contributing to this mission until after this mandate was in place. In 2017, the Maritime Analysis Operations Centre Narcotics, which is an international maritime intelligence centre supported by the European Union, requested a naval service ship to assist with maritime drug interdiction operations. Although Ireland is a strong supporter of the centre and was in fact one of the founding members, a ship could not be sent given that there would be no UN mandate for such an operation. So there are examples, Deputy, and there hasn't been a UN peacekeeping mission mandated by the Security Council since 2014. And I've made it very clear, despite the misleading assertions by you just now, that anything we do in terms of not we're basically proposing the removal of the UN Security Council sanction. But we have made it crystal clear that anything we'll do will be within the UN Charter. You know I've said that time and time again, yet it's disappointing that you deliberately distort the truth in terms of your assertions. Anything we do, and the latest proposal we're bringing forward, will be absolutely within the framework of the UN Charter. That's always been our esprit de corps as a country.
Well, I think Deputy Murphy is correct. It does not make any sense. It's totally illogical to say that we will operate within the UN Charter and at the same time that we want to break free of the UN Security Council, because they're part and parcel of the same package. And I'll tell you something, you've really gone back to when you were 13 and how you remember the campaign and how we threatened there was going to be troops in the street and conscription. I'm probably a bit older than you, but I certainly wouldn't have been talking about conscription. But in 2013, you have a great memory, because in 2013, when you weren't 13 and you're in the opposition benches, you said the triple lock is at the core of our neutrality, and explicitly rejected the argument that it gives a veto to Russia or China over our peacekeeping activities. Now you're saying the opposite, and what you really mean is everything changed with the brutal invasion of Ukraine by Putin. And we are now facing a new splintered, new-style colonial world where wars are on the brink. And we want to be able to engage with other countries, with possibly NATO eventually, but definitely with the European Union, who have your ear all the time. We want to engage in military activity with them. Now I want you to say, where do you want to send troops? And will it be the sons and daughters of Irish working class people who will be sent abroad to lose their lives? Because I don't think it's going to be the sons and daughters of the people on the benches opposite me. I think you need to tell the people that. And by the way, you could make this a general election issue. If you don't want to have a referendum on neutrality, at least wait till the general election and change your manifesto from what you gave people in 2020 to one that says, I want to get rid of the triple lock. I don't believe in our neutrality.
That is a monstrous lie and assertion to suggest that removing the triple lock will facilitate or will be a factor or will result in young Irish people fighting in wars. And by the way, the European Union is not a colonial power. That exactly proves my point. You're denying what past campaigns. You've just reiterated.
I would describe it as a colonial power.
It is not a colonial power. It has no colonies. Okay, it's not Russia. It's not the real imperialism of today is Russia.
It has a colony called Israel.
And you just do pro forma. You'll articulate a formulation in this chamber. I've never seen you march.
But you don't answer the questions.
I've never seen you march on behalf of the people of Ukraine, and you never will.
You don't answer the question. You're wrong about that.
Because
you don't answer the questions.
Because you have presented the Ukraine war and you've presented Russia's invasion as somehow a Western European neo-colonialist
No, we did not.
project.
You haven't answered the question. Where do you want to send troops?
And it's a false dichotomy between the colonialism of the past and the sovereignty which we've achieved as members of the European Union.
I've caught you contradicting yourself so many times. You will not answer the questions.
And I'll answer the question. As I said to you, it's completely within the Charter. And we only want to be involved in peacekeeping missions, and we will have to be involved in evacuating Irish citizens, and we need to change the frame. Don't give you that. Don't give you that about Afghanistan. What about people in Afghanistan that were rescued by and the Army Rangers were participants?
We did,
what about
didn't we?
Sudan?
Didn't we do it?
You know, you just are so dismissive of the reality of what's happening in many parts of this world. And we have to get Irish citizens out of Sudan, we have to get them out of Afghanistan. That's going to increase jeopardy. There's going to be more, unfortunately, more war situations where we will have to on evacuation.
But you want to be free to send troops to those wars?
No, to evacuate Irish citizens safely.
The time is up. Can I just ask that the questions... Can I ask that the questions would be directed through the chair and that the responses would be directed through the chair? And this, across the chamber, argy-bargy, is doing nothing for anything.